Good morning, Toronto. Welcome back to BT at 7:20. We're going 4 wide here, and we can now officially say the Toronto Blue Jays are in the postseason. Wide here, and good morning, Toronto. Welcome back to BT at 7:20. We're going 4 wide here, and we can now officially say the Toronto Blue Jays are in the postseason.
Let's go!
When they got swept at home by Texas in 4 games 3 weeks back, didn't know if we'd be saying that. It's official. The Mariners lost Saturday night, so the Jays officially got in that way. Yesterday they lost their final regular season game of the season, 12-8 to Tampa. But again, because it was done and dusted, the Jays got in. Let's show some of the scenes here from yesterday. Lindsay Dunn of City News, you saw her in the throes of it. This was the celebration here. The Toronto Blue Jays won 3 fewer games than they did a season ago, and they are going to open up their postseason with a best 2 out of 3 in Minnesota starting Tuesday. 2 things you need to know. 1, all games this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and possibly Thursday, begin at 4:38 in the afternoon. I'm going to say that again. 4:38 Eastern is the start time for all of these games because American television doesn't care about the Toronto Blue Jays. 2, Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May, and the entire Sportsnet team will be covering these games. That's not how it normally works with American television, but Rogers has had a long-running conversation with MLB. Dan and Buck will call the games. The other thing, the Blue Jays are not playing any Rogers Center games in this series. The way the wild card round works, all 3 games, if needed, minimum 2, will take place in one city. And because the Jays didn't win enough games, that one city will be Minnesota. So no home games this round. The winner of Minnesota and Toronto will take on the defending World Series champions in the next round, the Houston Astros. There's a lot of talk, Devo, I'll start with you, about the season this was for the Jays.
I'm sorry, I just have to say.
Go ahead.
Thank you for that. That was like, you know, in high school when you used to do Cole's notes? Because you didn't read them up?
I appreciate it.
I was like, Sid notes right there.
appreciate
the
Okay,
book.
Devo Brown, yes.
Being a nerd helps.
Yeah.
All right, Devo, so listen, where do you want to start? The Jays getting in and the series with Minnesota starting tomorrow at 4:38? Or some of the celebrations and scenes we saw?
I know where you want to start. Start where you want to start, man. Just go to it. Just don't sugarcoat what you want to get to and what you are not happy about seeing on your screen right now. Go ahead.
I'll get to it.
Go ahead.
Because I got a text in the middle of the celebrations you saw on Sportsnet. I got a text from Devo Brown yesterday. And forgive me, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have my phone with me.
Yeah.
He said, "You're going nuts right now, aren't you?"
Yeah, I think I said you're completely
Yes.
losing your mind, aren't you?
And I kind of was. Now, there's 2 things I want to say. It's a long season in baseball. I get it. It's 162 games. It is really one of the longest in professional sports in North America, aside from Major League Soccer, that plays like it feels like 11 months out of the year. So I get celebrating, and it's a baseball thing to celebrate. First thing, the Jays clinched on Saturday night. Mariners lost. It was a weird way to clinch, right? The home crowd couldn't celebrate. The Jays couldn't celebrate. I would have preferred, considering the context of what happened, when the Jays ended that game yesterday, the team goes around the entire stadium and gives their fans this. Because 3 million people showed up at Rogers Center this year, highest attendance in that building since 2017. And I thought at the minimum, they should go around and applaud people because really the fans didn't have that moment to celebrate the clinching either. But that's not how it went. They raced inside as fast as they could, put on some weird dance remix of In Excess, threw on the goggles, and did something that quite frankly I saw back in 2015 and 16, and as television I wasn't that entertained by. And then when most of the crowd left, I'm not kidding, when most of the crowd went home, that's when they came back out. That's when they sprayed, well, we have the video here. That's when they sprayed, I think, 30 or 50 family members that were still there. I don't know who was left. Most of the stadium was gone. And then they took a photo on the mound. Now, listen, I'm fine with all of this, but there's 2 things on top of that. 1, you don't have any home games left potentially this season. That could have been it. Again, you have no home games this round. Secondly, I don't understand why you can't allow the fans to be a part of that. I think it's a weird thing that happened. If the Jays were on the road yesterday, that's fine. but you weren't home. Celebrate with your fans, make them a part of it. That's the part that bothered me. Above the obvious, you just got in and you're celebrating thing, I'm going to leave that alone. The fan part of that Devo really annoyed me, and I think we got to think this through a little bit better. Aside from that, I had no issues with it.
Aside from that, huh?
Aside from that,
No issues.
and I love that you knew him well enough
Oh, yeah,
to text say, "Hey, you are
I'm
losing
getting concerned with how
right now." Yeah.
No, I'm aware of how that mind works a little bit. And look, Hazel May did a great job being live on Sportsnet during the postgame
Not easy.
No.
festivities, where millions of fans, or hundreds of thousands of fans at least, watched that. I was getting messages from so many of my friends saying, this is really cool. We're getting an inside look at that. I don't know if you can hang around inside Rogers Center with 40,000 fans and celebrate the same way as you could with that group. The staff were there, their crew was there, grounds crew. I was messaging my buddy Dean, like they were all celebrating with them. This is a moment for the players who, as you mentioned, it's a long season, man. It is. During the season, do you ever see them out like really partying? No. They're away from their families. They're away from like here, and they're grinding out to get in there. I understand. Look, they didn't win to get in the specific game to get into the playoffs. But that happened last year as well. I believe they had to wait for somebody else to lose, right? I'm okay with the celebration. I know a lot of people aren't, because guess what? They're going to celebrate. They got on the bus. They already flew out. They're there. They're sleeping. They're going to get rested. They're going to get prepped, and they're going to win 2 games straight. That's what I'm calling right now.
All right.
So I'm okay with the celebrations. I always will be. That's a baseball thing, as you mentioned, but I'm not mad at it.
Isn't it an order thing, though? You're right. Like, it seems to be the order. Maybe they could have done the outward one first.
That's what I'm saying.
Inward one second.
Just kind of flip it.
Yeah, flip it.
Because you can go inside and have that moment on Sportsnet all you want. Listen, people are entertained by that. That's fine. I was done with that by 2016. Like, I thought that wasn't interesting to me after 2016. But you're right. Flip it. And all I'm saying is flip it and reverse
Flip it and reverse it. Flip it and reverse it.
Flip it and reverse it.
Yeah.
But overall, celebrating at this point of the postseason, are you okay with that, Mary?
I love a celebration. You're going to win like that. I mean, and well, lose like that. Lose like that and get in. I mean, a celebration, it just reminds me of being there when Joe Carter hit that home run. I was at that game, and I remember that feeling. And feelings matter in sports, emotions matter, and to be able to harness that and take it with you. So I do think that bonding is the way to go,
And
but I think the
word.
flip it is the way to go.
The bonding.
Yeah.
Right.
Them in that locker room and spraying each other, celebrating, that just builds more chemistry. But I understand 3 million, they said, right? They crossed the 3 million attendance mark,
Yeah, it's a
Tam,
lot of support.
this season. So yes, walking around or saying, but I think they do that throughout regular games. I don't know. I don't know if that many fans are upset at the fact that they didn't walk around the stadium and say, hey,
Guess
thank
what?
you.
And that was my question. Were fans outraged by it? And was there an acknowledgement of it in the beginning of the game as
No,
well?
a lot of people that I got messaged from had no idea that was going to happen after they were done the Clubhouse In Excess remix thing. Because that's what they were playing. I'm not making that up. But that's what I heard.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know whose playlist that was. That was bad.
yeah, they need
I'll say
DJ
it.
Climax. I was thinking the whole time. They need Climax in the room.
They needed him, yeah.
Anyway, listen, at the end of the day, Mark Shapiro is going to be on the show tomorrow, the president of the Jays. I'm with you, though. Jays win this series.
Yeah.
They're way better than Minnesota. They have the best pitch in the American League. I think the Jays are going to stick around here a lot longer than some people think. I just had some issues with yesterday, but the pitching has to be there. If it's there, they can beat a lot of teams. 100%. Final thought, Tam.
I just think that, you know what, celebrating this early in the postseason, like before it really gets underway, just the clinch, celebrating like that, at first I was like, oh, like we didn't win the World Series yet. Like it's just getting into,
Looks like
you
it,
know,
yeah.
But then I'm like, you know what? YOLO. Celebrate it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's fine. Celebrate,
Wednesday night, celebrate the same way.
Go nuts.
After you went to the second game. I hope
And
to
I
see
think
it.
they will.
I hope to
And I
see
think
it.
they will. Again, Jays game 1 tomorrow, Sportsnet against the Twins, 4:38 Eastern. Don't you dare miss it. Tammy's got news. Don't you dare miss that. Also coming up at 7:40, the Gordon Downey Chani Wenjack Fund invites you to join them to do something, to move reconciliation forward. We will learn about Chani's story and continue these conversations coming up within the hour. Good Monday morning. You're watching BT. More after this.